Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to yet another episode of Misunderstood. I am so grateful that you have come here today, and I pray that even this video today shall speak to you. We began a series a week ago about checking yourself, and self-sabotage was such a powerful and impactful conversation. Thank you so much for chiming into the conversation, giving me your input. I do admit I really learned a lot from you guys, and so I really appreciate you. I appreciate you all so deeply. Welcome to Misunderstood. My name is Youre, and this platform, Misunderstood, was created with the sole agenda of giving understanding to different things, different seasons, different times that you've been through, and different happenings. So that when you go through them, you'll remember that someone went through them and became not better, but you can learn from them. I am not a custodian of all information and knowledge, and I confess to that. And so many of the things that I share here are things I've heard or been taught, I have learned from people, I have read in books, and I have researched a bit into. And so I pray that even as you consume this content, find space here. This is a free forum, so please leave a comment, share it with your friend, subscribe. Let's build this community the right way. This week's episode is about competition. Now, if you know Nyawira, one of the things you know about me is that I am highly, and I mean highly competitive. It's like when a game comes up, there's no discussion. I will get into it completely. In fact, I say it a lot around my friends, is that one of the reasons I know I shall never I pray to God that I never get in contact with gambling is because I know myself. If I must win, I must win. And that has been my agenda with games for a long time. The adrenaline that kicks in when you know that you're taking charge of the game and you're winning, it gives me so much life. But as I was preparing this content, I realized that this same strength that I have is in equal measure a great vice. Because competition done in the wrong way can take away the entire agenda of what you are fighting so hard to become. Now, competition in this context is not the positive type of competition, and I think I need to define those two. Is that there is positive competition and negative competition. Positive competition speaks to everybody. The challenges that you face as a person edify the people around you. So I tried to think about a good example, and one of the ones that came to my mind was that when you are competing, I don't know, is it with your friends? And I think you're all in the same space, but as you compete, you don't step on them or oppress them. Your competition is so that this person can rise. So you're becoming better so that you can raise them. And negative competition does the opposite thing. It tells you that you must be better than everybody else, and everybody else must suffer so that you can become better. I hope that gives a bit of clarity about what positive competition is versus negative competition. Now, this is a disclaimer. There is nothing wrong. There is nothing, and I absolutely mean nothing wrong with wanting better for yourself. And I just want to say that clearly, because I think when I was in primary school, my dad would always tell me as we brought our report cards home, was that, Nyawira, your competition is not number one or number two. It's what did you do last time, and have you become better this time? And so competition has a way of making people in a room feel a bit uncomfortable, because everybody thinks that Houston is just trying to show us who they are. They're becoming better than who they are. They're trying to show off their personality. But actually, competition there's nothing wrong with wanting to be better. The harm is that when you want to be better so that others can know that you are better, that's the error. Now, there are different reasons as to why I am competitive. And this is a very vulnerable conversation for me, because I realize that in this one I must be a bit more candid than just giving off the counter conversations about it. The first reason is that there is a need for you to be noticed, and for you to feel an urge of importance. Now, when you compete, you feel that you're noticed when you win, because nobody wants to be a loser. Let's be honest. And you know, I'm the queen. I crowned myself the queen of charades, because if you play with me, I really, really go at you, because I really want to make sure that we win. I hate the word loser. I hate it because I just feel like it comes with everything negative just comes with the word loser. But this is the funniest thing, is that when you need to be important, And when you need to be noticed, it's speaking to a louder insecurity. And I realized this about myself because I asked myself, why do you always have to be hostile? Why are you always being nasty? And if you dig deeper into competition, you realize the thing that you're actually unearthing is a spirit of jealousy. Because you realize that someone is better, and so you start to covet them. You start to be jealous of them. I've shared this innumerable times on different platforms, including Misunderstood, that there was a time I believed I was going to be the MC of the year. Me, there was no, how can you deny me a platform? Do I speak well? Yes. Do I show up well? Yes. Do I understand events? Yes. Why would you deny me the platform? And so I began to feel like the spirit of competition, I'm calling it a spirit, I'm so churchy. The competition was just rising up within me. And it made me realize that I have a problem, because when I knew I had a real issue was when I went on Instagram and began to mute and unfollow people who I thought I was better than. Now, I want to make this very clear. When you want to be noticed and you want to be important, you need to be careful, because you can easily think that you are the best. And that superiority will make you feel like you are incorrigible. Is that the word? You can't be taught. You can't learn. You can't be spoken to. You can't be encouraged. You can't be checked. You can never be criticized. That thing makes you feel like I am the greatest, you know? And it's a weird thing, because when you're the greatest, really there's no one to compare you to. Means you're never gonna improve yourself. So if you want to be noticed and you want to be important, you, my dear friend, have this vice growing within you. Another thing is that you have such an urgency and such a need for validation. You want guys to, in local words, tambua you. Like you're the one. You, when you show up, all our games, Shika. You, when you're in our office working team, you're the reason our team will go far. That's what you want. You feed off of this validation. Now, the underlying issue with seeking validation is that when it's not there, you crumble like a small child. Now, it's dangerous, because seeking validation speaks to the fact that you are not content with who you are. And these things, I'm just saying, they were very encouraging to write, but they were hitting me left, right, and center, because when you're seeking validation, sometimes you don't even know it, but you love it. And when it's not given to you, you question the people in that space. I've caught myself several times wondering to myself, how come no one noticed when I said that? Did they understand when I said this? And I keep on pinching myself, because I realize, why do I need them to validate me? Why do you want to be validated? Why does it matter so much what people have to say about you? These are some of the questions you need to ask yourself when it comes to competition, because you realize that you don't want to be validated on what you've done. You want to be validated higher than other people. You want people to say that you are better than you have done. And it's interesting, because if you're content with who you are, other people's output should not be a hindering point to yours, you know? And it pinches me every time. Another reason is that, and this could be the last reason for why we are afraid, why we have this vice, is that we are so afraid. And I mean, like, it kills us, competitive people. We are so afraid of being average. I want to be very clear with this statement, is that I am not condoning mediocrity. No, I'm not. What I'm saying is that competition will make you feel like if you are not the best, you are mediocre. And that's such a bad metric. Surely between number 1 and number 100, there's number 20. That's not mediocre. You see, if your competition is yourself, then you're trying to become better than what you did last time. But if your competition is others, then you're average, because they are number 1 and I am not. So the test here is, why are you so afraid of being average? What does average look like in your reality? Please leave a comment. I'd really like to find out what you guys think about this fear of being average, because I feel like it's a whole Pandora's box that we need to unearth, yeah? And I just want to say that as a competitive person who is working on herself, I want to encourage you that one of the aims of these videos is not for me to chokora your feelings. No, it's for me to make you understand that we are many. Me, I'm one of you. And so I want to encourage you that it's not a death sentence to be competitive in the wrong light. And the moment you realize it, that you have this vice, you're already one step into becoming better. So one of the things I want to do is that even as I share these vices, please don't stop at only what the vices are and how they look like, but also continue till the very end, where we speak about what the remedies are. And so here are some thoughts that I shared on remedying this competitive, negative competitive behavior, negative competitive, so many words, negative competition, right? If you get what I mean. The first one is analyze your emotions. You know, you'll hear this over and over again, but many of these things that you're checking yourself about are really all in your mind. You need to sit down and call your mind to a settling point where you say, hey, now me, when I'm in the office and Nani shows up and Nani shows up and Nani shows up, I'm triggered and I get mad when they do better than me. Analyze that emotion for a minute. Don't dismiss those thoughts. In fact, that's the right word. At any given moment, do not dismiss any thought you have, good or bad. But what you do is that you don't dismiss it. But after you acknowledge it, analyze it and find out what the underlying issue is. So identify, analyze, remedy. That's the outline. The second thing is kill all comparisons. There is no than in life. And I want to just make this very clear, is that there is no than in life means that I am not a better content creator than. No. Everybody has their own niche. Everybody has their own people. Everybody has been given their own. Stick to your own. At your own level, you are the best. And I want to make this very clear. Compared to others means that you're comparing your output as opposed to who you really are. You know, I said I'm very competitive. A while ago, I was going through different content on YouTube. In fact, it was, I think, three or 4 weeks ago, I was on Just Angie. She has fantastic content. I don't even know. I was binging her content the other day and I was so inspired. I love you. Pastor Angie, you're the best. But as I was watching her videos, I began to tell myself, how come her video quality is better than mine? How come her output is better than mine? How come? And then I asked myself, where am I comparing myself to her? And in all honesty, she's a great example because Pastor Angie plays many roles in my life. She's just not another random content creator for me. She has very many hats and I love her deeply. And so I know that when I use this example, I mean no offense. But when I caught myself being in that space, I realized that my comparison would have told me, your platform, Youre, is not good enough. So now you need to stop it and you need to now figure out how to become better than. Now I've learned something in life. When you start comparing yourself to other people, you become what you're competing. And this is funny because when you compete with a runner in a marathon, they say, what you do is replicate his pattern. So like if I was to run against Kipchoge, just the thought consumes me. But if I was to say I was the greatest runner of all time and I was running next to Kipchoge, if I wanted to become like him, I would emulate exactly what he does. What shoe is he wearing? What track is he running on? What is his pace? How does he keep his time? What does he do right? How does he practice? What does he eat? What are his patterns? That's what comparison does. It makes you become like this other person. Now, I have a real issue with people embodying other people and losing who they are. If you are having an issue with comparison, you need to stop and realize that you're becoming what you're comparing yourself to. And that could help you find your identity, because whatever you're comparing yourself to is denying you the opportunity of fully being you. You are not better than, and you are not worse than or less than. You are enough. And sometimes you just need to hear it enough times. You're enough. The third thing is that you need to kill this black and white thinking. That if the boss came into the office, your team leader or your boss, or I don't know how your pattern works at work, for example, this is a good example for me, is that if my boss comes to the office and shouts out to my colleague and says, hey, Margaret, you did very well, you did the best amongst all of us. Him saying that Margaret did the best doesn't mean Youre did the worst. And black and white thinking checklist is that if it's not good, it's bad. And sometimes that's not the reality in life. There are shades in between black and white. Don't get it twisted. If Margaret is better you're not worse. She just did better. Do you understand what I mean? I think I was hearing, who was I hearing? My small sister. And she was saying that in science, she did so well. But it's so interesting. She was, I think, second, if I'm not wrong. But her grade was like less than number one. And she believed she had done badly. And I felt so discouraged because I thought to myself, oh, sweet girl, this is going to be the pattern in life where you'll always feel like number one is the ultimate goal. And it's great to be number one. Let me tell you, it has its perks. But the unfortunate thing is that you being number two doesn't mean you've done badly, you know? And I'm not saying that we should learn to settle. I'm saying that you shouldn't live a life where if I don't do the best, I have done the worst. That's not the right way of thinking. The other thing is that you need to demystify certain thoughts around you, that the praise of another person doesn't mean that you have done wrong. And let me just speak in that for a few seconds, because I just want to encourage you that if Margaret did well in, for example, at the workplace, you need to learn to celebrate with people. Celebrating people's milestones skills competition, because it makes you realize that she's done better, and so I should celebrate her at her level. It's a tough pill to swallow, because in your head you're thinking, hey, how come I'm not the one being celebrated? Why am I not the one doing it right? But in actual sense, if somebody did better than you, you should celebrate with them, because that is a good sign of, what's that thing called? Sportsmanship. You know, I see it at, what's this thing called? Oh, my sweet Lord, what is it called? The football games. This Premier League, okay, let me just be honest. I always see it at the World Cup. I never watch the Premier League. Who am I lying to? But during the World Cup, before the match starts, they all shake hands. Shake hands. They play a vicious game. You know, one at the level of, what do you call it? At the level of penalties is where the game changes action. But when the game is done, regardless of the outcome, they shake hands, because good sportsmanship and good life culture and good life behavior is in knowing that even though you won't do the best, you need to honor other people, because in doing so, you kill the comparison spirit coming in between you. And let me just say it right. Celebrate that person with honesty, not from a place of envy. Competition, just like self-sabotage, harnesses a spirit of jealousy. Because self-sabotage tells you you are not meant to do it. You are incapable. Competition tells you now that you're doing it, you must be the best. And you must eliminate everybody else who is coming into your path. Don't be competitive. Yeah? And find peace in the fact that, number one, you should kill comparison. There is no than in life. Number two is kill this black and white checklist where it's number one or number last. It's either good or bad. They're in-betweens there, and sometimes you need to find that life will throw you in between. You won't be the best and you won't be the worst. Find peace in that. Number three is that you need to analyze your emotions. Identify. Don't dismiss any thought. Listen to them. Identify which thoughts are right. Analyze them. And at that level, demystify what is the real issue here. Finally, you need to be in a place where you are able to celebrate people who have done well around you, and even better, quote unquote, than you, because in doing so you learn from them. And it's a good show of sportsmanship. And it's not a show, actually, it's a good test of your character, because if you can celebrate people who have done quote unquote better than you, it means that you have your interest is in people doing better wholesomely, as opposed to it being always about you. So are we all competitive? Me, I don't know about you, but I speak as Nyawira that I am highly competitive. And I pray that God works on me. And I pray that this video helps you realize that it's not a great thing. Sometimes it's a great thing to know your strengths, but also realize that some of these strengths, when they're overdone, can become vices. So find a place of balance. Till next time, thank you so much for subscribing to Misunderstood. I pray that you find a community here. Please join the community by subscribing, share the video, leave a comment in the comment section. Are you competitive? Me, I don't know. I want to know from you. What are some of the things that you've done to fix this vice? And how are you checking yourself when it comes to competition? I love you all deeply, and I cannot wait to see you in the next video. Bye.